Hey everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave, the host of the Dark Stuff channel here on YouTube. Thank you so much for checking out my latest video. As always, it's much appreciated. In today's video, it's going to be a long-form recap of my 48-hour rock and roll excursion to the Twin Cities, Minneapolis St. Paul in Minnesota. Saw some great music, had a really great time. I'm going to be covering it all right here. So the entire trip revolved around seeing two great bands that I wanted to see that weren't playing in Omaha, but were playing up in St. Paul. St. Paul's about 6 hours away or so, so it's not like a frequent stop for me, but if the band is worth seeing, I will go. So the two bands that I was traveling to see are, number one, Snowmen. I'm wearing the shirt right here, and also Weird Nightmare. So I've interviewed both of those bands on the channel recently, but about 6 months ago when I talked to the Snowmen, realized they were going to be playing up in St. Paul at the end of May, and so I sort of put this little thought in my head that I'm going to go to that show. It's a great excuse to go to the Twin Cities. Then, when I was on the Turf Club, that's the club in St. Paul, the website, I saw that Weird Nightmare was playing the night before. And I'm like, I just interviewed Weird Nightmare just like the day before that. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to have to go for both, see both shows. Kill two birds with one stone. Okay, so got all the tickets, got the hotels, did all that stuff, and then I hit the road. Made it to Minnesota. We just crossed the border. I just crossed the border. I don't know why I'm talking about the royal we. Just crossed the border. I got about, I don't know, 100 miles to go to get to St. Paul. Check in later. Bye. Whoa, pretty nice. Oh, shower, sick. I like that. Here's the rest of the. This is the suite. The one thing. Here's my. Okay, the one negative though. This is my view. All right, so once I got settled into the hotel, did my little disco nap to get energy levels up, and then I decided to go ahead and hit the Turf Club for my first time ever.
Destination is ahead on the right. You have arrived at your destination.
I love the club. I mean, this was a really cool place. I came in, I was, I think, the first or second person there when I got there. And I'd asked some friends if they serve food at the Turf Club, and they were both like, no. But turns out, yes, they do actually. They have a full menu and stuff. So I got a burger and fries and just kind of hung out for a little bit until people started filling in and until I saw that the Weird Nightmare was there so I could go and say hello. So I went over, I said hello to Alex from Weird Nightmare. He was up at the merch booth, and I got a t-shirt. That's my t-shirt, the Weird Nightmare shirt. You know, like I said hi to Alex and just went up and perched myself right in the front at a little table, and then I eventually ended up standing. But I was joined at the table by two people who I didn't know, just a couple of cool rock fans, and we started chatting about music and stuff. And I tried to convince the guy and his wife or girlfriend or whatever to come out the next night for the second show, but I didn't actually see them there on the second night. The opening band for Weird Nightmare was a Twin Cities band that I'd never heard of, and apparently they just changed their name like very recently, so most people hadn't heard of them. They changed it to Agnes Uncaged. This is their album right here, and it says on the back. Okay, Agnes Uncaged. Now I'm going to be honest with you, and if the band members see this, apologies, but I don't like the name. Okay, I don't get it. Who's Agnes? Why was she in a cage? What's the deal? It sounds too much like Alice in Chains, and so I kept wanting to say Agnes Unchained, but it's Agnes Uncaged. Now, apparently they were called Creeping Charlie until recently, and that's not really better. So if somebody else had that name, Creeping Charlie, you should just let them have it. Well, Agnes Uncaged is a four-piece band led by two sisters. Okay, so Julia Eubanks was the singer and played guitar, and then Esme Eubanks played bass, and then there was a drummer and a lead guitar player as well. And I was blown away by their set. They were so good. I made a note to myself on my phone that the band reminded me of two pretty obscure bands that nobody's going to remember, but I suggested Moving Panoramas. That's an Austin-based band that I love that made two albums. I don't know if they're still going or not. And another band called Denali. Now, Denali, I should have maybe referenced their more popular one. Anyways, so Denali was fronted by this woman, Maura Davis, and after Denali, she formed this band called Bella Leah. That's where I saw her most of the time, was as the front person for Bella Leah. And then for some mysterious reason, when they got signed to a record label and made an album, they changed the name to Ambulette. I mean, I don't know. The record was okay, but it's like it wasn't nearly as good as the live stuff, but that's a side note. Anyways, I really, really thought that was the sound. And then I've actually now listened to the record a couple of times, and what I've listened to the record when I hear is like Belly and Throwing Muses and that kind of stuff from the early 90s. Really, really great guitar, great instrumentation, great songs, great singer. Again, this was a really, really cool band. Also got a couple of stickers from the band that they gave me, because I bought the vinyl and the CD. Okay, so really what I wanted was the vinyl for my collection, and then the CD because I said I do a radio show in Omaha and I'd like to play you on the radio. And then the drummer started mentioning that Omaha was one of the cities that they wanted to play in, and so we exchanged information, and hopefully he'll contact me and we'll actually try to set something up in Omaha. Next up, of course, Weird Nightmare. That's the band that I was there to see that night. Weird Nightmare was pretty much everything that I wanted to wanted to see and wanted to hear. I mean, when I spoke to Alex in the interview, I asked, what can fans expect from the show? You know, and it's like basically cuts from both albums. They have a couple of singles. They played cuts from those too. So everything was enthusiastic. My only knock would be it was a little short. It was like an hour, and I would have wanted more. They could have played for another 30 minutes if they had the stuff worked up. But I thought they were fantastic. The crowd reception seemed pretty good. I mean, people were pretty excited to have seen them. They had a long-ass line selling merch at the end of the show. It was at like 10 or 15 people deep. After I spoke to the Agnes Uncaged people, then I went back and got in the line for Weird Nightmare, and that took a little while to get stuff, but congratulations for them, because as they said in the interview, as Alex said in the interview, you know, because we were talking about streaming and everything, and the artists make nothing from streaming, but they make money off merch sales at shows. So I was glad to participate by buying a shirt, and I'm glad that other people were there and that they dug the show too. Fantastic first night at the Turf Club. I went home and immediately was zonked out. Hey everybody, it's day 2. Just about to go hit breakfast at the hotel. Then I'm going to the CC Club to meet a friend for lunch and maybe do some record shopping. And then it's night 2 with Snowmen tonight. Okay, the second day, I had plans to meet up with an old friend of mine, and we were going to hit the CC Club in Minneapolis and then do some record shopping. And it was really great. I got to meet up with my friend. I hadn't seen him in nearly 20 years or so. It was we were trying to figure out the last time. We sort of settled on the time we saw Mission of Burma together in Madison, but I couldn't remember if there was a time more recently than that. But either way, it had been like half of a lifetime. So I was so glad he was willing to meet me. And CC Club was cool. It wasn't the first time I'd ever been in there, but that's just such a historical place, because I know that's where like the Replacements used to hang out back in the early 80s and stuff. And that's also the spot where notoriously where Paul Westerberg and Tommy Stinson fired their manager Pete Jesperson in 1986, and in one of the booths at the CC Club. Okay, so right in the vicinity of the CC Club is Lucky Cat Records. Lucky Cat Records is a somewhat new record store in a legendary spot. It's the spot where Orpho Jokopus used to be, and that was the record store that Pete Jesperson, the aforementioned Pete Jesperson, worked at. He was the manager there, and that's where Paul Westerberg handed his little demo tape up to Pete, and that was the beginning of the story of the Replacements in a very real way. So it's a legendary spot. It went out of business. It became a different business, record store, and then that place turned over, and now it's Lucky Cat Records. And Lucky Cat was a nice store. They had tons of stuff. I wasn't really looking for too much, and so I just kind of looked for stuff maybe that I wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. And what I did find was this Nova Mob CD, speaking of Minneapolis, Last Days of Pompeii. This is the remix version. Of course, I already had the OG from 91, which sounds really bad. This one sounds exceptional. So I mean, this came out in 2010. I don't know why I never got it. But I did get a copy of The Last Days, the new version. I also bought the final Replacements book in my collection, the only one that I still needed, the Bill Sullivan book, Lemon Jail on the Road with the Replacements. And this book, I haven't read it yet, obviously, I just got it the other day, but it's worth the price just for like the photos of them in like hotel rooms and at sound checks and stuff. There's so many great photos in that book. I just can't wait to read it. Then we headed over to Roadrunner Records, a much smaller store at a different part of town. Looked through that for a while. I didn't end up getting anything. I saw a thing or two that I wanted, but ended up passing on it. And my friend and I went and got some coffee, and then I ended up going back to my hotel again for another slight disco nap before the night 2 of rock and roll. Okay, so the plan was to for my friend and I to meet at a Thai place, which is like 2 doors down from the Turf Club. This other friend I hadn't seen in 20 years, and it was really good to catch up. And he agreed to come to the show with me. When I pulled up initially and I parked the car, I started walking towards Turf Club, and I could hear the band sound checking. Hey, they're just pulled up Turf Club for night 2, and I can hear Snowmen sound checking in the back right behind me. So you're seeing them shortly. So I knew they were there. Okay, I recognized the song. I knew the guys were there. It was happening. It was all happening. Went and had some Thai food, quickly went back to the club, and said hello to Snowmen for the first time. So I got to meet all of the guys. Everyone in the band we got a chance to chit chat for a little bit. It was really cool. Everybody was super, super nice, and they were still in a great mood because it was only night 2 of the tour. So who knows if it had been like 3 weeks in and they all hated each other. That's usually what happens when I meet up with bands. It's like they've been on the road for too long and they're ready to kill each other. Well, this was not the case. They were still very happy and having a good time. So it was great that I finally got to meet them. The opening band for this show, the headliner was a New York band called Glom, and I didn't know too much about them. I'd given them a listen a little bit beforehand, and they sounded really cool, but I was 100% there to see Snowmen. I mean, no lie, okay, 100%. Number one, I wanted to get the album on vinyl, okay? This was in my top 10 of last year albums. I want to say it was number 3 maybe, or number 4. I'm not sure exactly. It's a fantastic fucking record. I've covered these guys on the channel a number of times, but this was my first time actually seeing them live. The band was fantastic. I did ask Kendall, who plays the drums. He had said in the interview when I talked to them a few months ago that their goal was to have a new song or 2 ready before they went on tour. I asked, did that happen? No, didn't quite happen. That's okay though, because the songs that they played all from the record were just awesome. Okay, and another little note about this show that I was really surprised by. So I don't think they have a permanent bass player. So when I interviewed them, it was only 4 of them, and there wasn't a 5th guy. But they must have found another 5th guy. But then that 5th guy quit right before the tour, like days before, which is ultimate dick move. You know, how you don't just leave your band high and dry. But anyways, they found a replacement who had been with the band. This show was on Thursday. He had joined on Monday. So this was 4 days in the band. I have to say, he played flawlessly. I mean, you couldn't tell that he was brand new to the band. Not at all. I mean, and since I didn't know who the bass player was initially, like, he's the bass player. I mean, I don't know if he's permanent, but I will say he played all the parts great. And I saw him after the show outside and just was like, man, for being in the band for a week, good fucking job, man. I mean, it was really, really good. As is the case with all opening bands, the set was a little short. I wanted more. You know, it was maybe they played maybe 40, 45 minutes. I'm not sure. And I could have seen them play the entire record, maybe throw in a cover song, maybe do a new song if they had one. I mean, I don't know. But it ended and I was like, oh man, I kind of wanted more. I felt like they got a really good reception from the crowd. I want to say there might have been more people the second night at Turf Club for Glom and Snowmen than there was for Weird Nightmare and Agnes Uncaged the night before. I didn't do a head count. I wasn't trying to gauge it, but I'm always curious what the crowd is like and what the response is going to be. And I have to say the crowd seemed like they really dug Snowmen, which I was very happy to see because, I think I think the world of them. I've been plugging them here on the channel for a long time. I play them on my radio show a lot, and I was really, really anticipating this live show. And I'm glad that the crowd dug the vibe and that they liked the band. Was up after that, and I only stayed for about half of their show. I didn't get a ton of footage, and I wanted to stay longer. It was just, I knew I had to drive the next day, and so I just couldn't. It's the morning after, driving back to Omaha. It's like 6:30 in the morning or so. Anyways, couple of notes. So last night's Snowmen show was great. I left about halfway through the headliner, and they were really good, very 90s indie, and I got a little bit of footage of them. I liked them, but it just, I was beat and I had to get up really early. Weird Nightmare, also excellent. Opening band, Agnes Uncaged, also very good. Hopefully they will actually come to Omaha at some point. Same with Snowmen, of course. So, another thing, it's the first time I'd ever stayed in St. Paul as opposed to Minneapolis. And I stayed downtown at the Hyatt. I didn't like it. The hotel's fine. It's just, you know, I'm not used to this valet parking. That just seems weird to me when you're staying at a Hyatt. But anyways, I didn't like it. It's a minor complaint. That's all I'll say. But I did kind of bitch about it a bunch when I was there. So it might seem like it was a little bit more important than it was. Anyways, I got about a 6-hour drive ahead of me. We'll report when I get back. Later. Another reason why I wanted to get back at a reasonable time was because I left my cat Blackie alone in the house for the first time ever. So I've always had 2 cats, so that if I do leave for a couple of days, you know, they're not alone. They have each other. But my cat Nico passed away about a month ago, and so Blackie's been solo since then, and this was my first trip since that time. So I was a little worried about leaving her alone, but you know, cats are resilient. She's 9 years old. Was the experience that much different with the other cat? I mean, they didn't even really like each other, to be honest. I don't know. Anyways, happy to report she was fine when I got back. Everything was cool. No problems. Wrapping it up, I just wanted to say, first of all, thanks to Snowmen and Weird Nightmare for just being really cool when I met you guys. The Snowmen is out now on vinyl, A Kick to the Face. So if you're waiting to get that on vinyl, you didn't want to buy it digitally or just stream it or whatever, it's now available on vinyl. I will put the website or the link below. Agnes Uncaged, the album is called Cyanotype. Cyan being blue, I guess. That's the color theme of the record. Anyways, it was a fantastic time. I'm really glad that I went. All 4 bands that I saw were fantastic. And it is now your obligation to seek out these bands, and if they come to your town, to go to the show. All right? Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.